Welcome to episode 1 of The Standard with Brock Longcrier. Today, I'm going to go through who I am, what this podcast is about, and go a little bit more in depth on every aspect that we'll be touching and we'll be talking about in this podcast. This is episode number 1, so for any of y'all that listen to it, thanks. If you could, subscribe so you can follow the journey. If you're a dad that is pursuing a better life for him and his family in the spiritual realm, in the financial and business realm, in the athletic realm, in the outdoor realm, we're going to cover all those topics. I'm not perfect by any means, but I want to share my story and my testimony of things that I've gone through and things that I'm currently going through so that other men can hear this, can be inspired, can take what I've learned and use it so that they don't have to go down that same path. So here we are. Let's get started. My name is Brock Longcrier. I am married to my wife, Cassidy. We have 2 daughters. They are currently 2.5, and their names are Hazel and Hattie. I am currently the business owner of Go-To Texting. We are a text advertising company with 2 different offers. We've got a very niche offer, which is we've got 25,000 subscribers over 5 different cities and 2 college markets. We also provide a texting platform for business, churches, daycares, chamber of commerces, so that people can stay connected to their people, whether that's their customers, whether that's their congregation, whether that's parents, whoever it might be. We're there to keep people showing up. I'm also an endurance athlete. First and foremost, I am a son of God. I'm a Christian. I'm a follower of Christ. I'm an outdoor enthusiast. I love to hunt, fish, anything that gets me outdoors. I absolutely love it, and I will either try it once or twice. I just finished a ultra marathon. I DNF'd, but I went 45 miles in 15 hours. So that's been a huge thing. Fitness has been huge, really just changing my entire life over these last year and a half. And I'll get more into that as we have more episodes down the road. This episode is just going to be telling you about who I am, what I'm about, and where I'm going to take this podcast. So I've consumed podcasts for years, and I've taken a lot of the information that I've learned from those podcasts and implemented them in my life. I really enjoy listening to the Nick Bare podcast or The Game with Alex Hormozi. I've also listened to the Founders podcast. That's been really good for business and learning what these other entrepreneurs did and went through to elevate their business to become the business owner that they are. Whenever me and my wife made the decision and jumped from being a full-time employee to being business owners, going all in on our business, my wife really challenged me to document the whole process. So this is me going all in on documenting the process, being more active on socials, and spreading the love of Jesus across the internet. It's just such a cool thing, and we can reach so many people by me sitting here at my desk, pouring my heart out, being vulnerable, and letting other people listen and hear my testimony. So, the Standard. Why did I choose the Standard? I realized all the things that I cared about, faith, family, fitness, entrepreneurship, endurance sports, the outdoors, they really aren't separate categories. They are all connected by one question. And that one question is, what standard am I living by? What standard am I upholding in each of these areas? Everyone has a standard. Standards determine outcomes. What does a good standard of a father look like? What does a good standard of a business owner look like? What does a good standard of an endurance athlete look like? What does a good standard of a Christian look like? What are these standards, and how are we upholding that standard as men, as followers of Christ, as fathers, as business owners? There's a lot of weight on our shoulders to uphold the standard. And so I'm wanting to get men who want to uphold the standard and create a community of dudes that just love the Lord and love their families and love fitness and everything else. So where did it all start? Started back when I was born in Carrollton, Texas. My dad was a youth minister. Then we moved to Mexico and Costa Rica. We lived on the mission field for a few years. We came back. I grew up in Carrollton, went to Tarleton State, worked out in the oil field, and here I am in Weatherford, Texas, running a business, changing my life with fitness, changing my life with business, changing my life with my family, and that's who I am. So, what is this podcast actually about? This podcast is about faith, family, fitness, endurance sports, entrepreneurship, and the outdoors. We're going to go into following Jesus and what that actually means in today's age. It's not perfection. It's hard. We have so many things at our fingertips with a phone. We deal with lust. Women post pictures of themselves online. It's constantly in our face. Movies are all sexualized. And so having to guard our eyes and like what us as men go through, it's hard. It's hard to be a follower of Jesus today. It's hard to be a follower of Jesus 2,000 years ago. But if we can come together as men, and if I can explain and I can tell you my testimony of these things that I've gone through in my faith, in lust, and in pornographic addiction, then I hope that testimony can help somebody else. We're going to go into family. We're going to talk about marriage. We're going to talk about what it means to be a good dad. What it talks about, talking about presence over perfection. We're going to go into all that. And I'm really excited about all of this. There's so many different pillars that I've got that consume my life that I won't be able to go into every single one every single time I talk on here. So it's going to get switched up. The next thing is fitness. Fitness has been huge because fitness has actually changed my life in a way that I've grown closer to God, because the more I move, the quieter my mind gets, the better I can hear God. The easier it is for me to talk to God. And how us as men need to move, to fight with one another, to brawl, to hit the weights, to go for a long run, to push ourselves to the furthest extent, and then next time go further, and then next time go further. There's a lot of power in that. And not only that, but treating our body as a temple, because we only have one body. I'm not saying what your body looks like. I'm not going off of what you look like. I'm going off of how you treat your body, what you consume. If your kids were stuck in a river, are you gonna be able to go out there and swim, grab them, bring them back? If an intruder comes into your house, are you gonna be able to defend your family? If somebody picks up your kid and runs away with them, are you gonna be able to sprint after them, grab them, handle the situation, and have a cool mindset? That's what I'm talking about. I don't care if by medical standards you're obese. I don't care about that at all. What I care about is how you're a father and how you treat your body, the body that the Lord gave you. You only got one. You only have one. I get fired up about this. Next, endurance sports. I love them. It is such a pivotal moment in my life when I signed up for the 69-mile ultra marathon. I completed 45 miles of it, ran for 15 hours. It was such a pivotal moment in my life because nothing has filled my cup like that outside of excluding the spiritual realm, excluding my daughters and my family. But in an endeavor that I've gone out and attempted to do, nothing has filled my cup and has brought me so much joy in such suffering. And there's a lot of crossovers from endurance sports to everyday life to business to the spiritual realm. It is so cool. So we'll get into that. Entrepreneurship, building a business that it glorifies the Lord. One thing that I struggle with every single day is sitting here, getting customers, trying to sell my business, trying to sell myself, trying to sell these text messages. But what I need to do, and I've been trying to make an attempt at, is when I walk in my office, say, Lord, lead me in the way in which you want me to go. This is your business. Let me steward it the way you want me to. Don't let me worry about if customers are going to come in. I need to not worry about those things. And I need to ask God, if I take the perspective of this is the Lord's company, how do I need to run it today? And if I follow that, the sales will come through. The hard conversations will be easier. The hard situations, the stressful situations, I may not know how to deal with them, but if I ask the Lord, hey, this morning in my quiet time, I talked to you about this is your business. Lord, let me truly live that out. Show me how. Business will become different for you. And then lastly, the outdoors. My probably number one passion. From pig hunting, deer hunting. I've never been elk hunting, which that's one thing I really want to do. Quail hunting, pheasant hunting, duck hunting, dove hunting, it doesn't matter. Whatever kind of hunting it is, I am down. Whatever kind of fishing it is, I'm down. So we'll go into outdoors. We'll talk about some of the adventures that I've had, some of the moments as a child growing up, sitting in the stand with my dad or my grandpa, which I'll be bringing onto the podcast, talking about some of those things, talking to them about how they were, what their perception of those moments were versus what my perceptions were, right? And so that's going to be I've never had that conversation, and that's one thing I'm really looking forward to, and that's what will be awesome. And I'm going to talk about the lessons I've learned each week in each of these aspects, as it may not be specifically towards one thing or another, but I want to talk about how being uncomfortable produces growth. How having faith and talking about faith is one thing, but truly living it out is a completely different story. And I'm going to be bringing my business coach on and talking about that in his last year of life, and with his wife being in critical care, in heart failure, in a heart transplant, how he's had to truly live a life full of faith. And like how most people quit before they even know what they're capable of, right? I think we all get scared of the what ifs. What are people going to think about me? For example, right now, I have no idea what I'm doing. This is episode number 1. I came up with a name today. I don't know how to do a podcast, but what I do know how to do is get started, and then everything will figure itself out. So I put a camera in front of me, I put a mic on, I've got my notes, and we're going with it. And so not quitting, having that consistency day in and day out to become 1% better. So my vision for this podcast is to have other business owners on, pastors, people who are close to me, other dads, other endurance athlete, other people with powerful stories that can make a difference in your life and in mine. That's who I want to have on here. This podcast is about bringing you value and about bringing me value as well, because this is my first time to live. I've only been on this earth for 32 years. There are so many other people that have so much wisdom and experience that can pour into me, and I want to be able to share that wisdom with y'all. So I want to end with this. I want to be a man who loves Jesus, who serves his family, who stays physically capable and physically fit, builds a meaningful business, seeking adventure everywhere I go, trying to become uncomfortable in every aspect of life, producing growth, and leave a legacy worth following. Leave a legacy for my daughters. Leave a legacy for the Longcrier name. To leave a legacy. When I was growing up, my dad always told me two things when I would leave the house. He would say, remember, two things. And those two things were honor God's name and honor our name. And that's what I want to, that's the kind of legacy I want to leave for my daughters and for my family and for generations to come after my family. And so I want to pour my legacy out on the internet and tell everybody what God's doing in my life, because my testimony is my legacy and I want y'all to hear it. So if this resonated with you in any kind of way, if you want to hear more, please like, subscribe, share it with someone you know, share it with somebody who you think could benefit from it and who's pursuing a higher standard for their life. This is A Standard with Brock Longcrier. We'll see you on the next episode. Stay blessed.